Right, just a quick announcement before this week's episode. Just a reminder that the 2024 remaster of Post-Historic Monsters is now out on Chrysalis Records, so please do go and bag yourself a copy. The new edition features the complete album, newly remastered. CD1 includes the singles Lean On Me, I Won't Fall Over, and Lenny and Terrence, and CD2 features rarities and B-sides and the single Glam Rock Cops. CD3 boasts a new live album, Up Pompeii, live in Portsmouth, recorded on tour in 1993. Completing the set is a DVD featuring promo videos, Top of the Pops appearances, plus a recently unearthed recording of the band playing at their spiritual home, Brixton Academy, during the Post-Historic Monsters tour. All appearing on DVD for the first time and accompanied by exclusive new commentary by Jim Bob and Fruitbat. So there we go, the 2024 remaster of Post-Historic Monsters out now on Chrysalis Records.
Okay, so how much do you remember about rugby tackling poor old Phil?
I don't really remember it. I only remember from what people have told me and what I've seen on video. Really, It was because the farm brought in a whole trolley load of booze,
Right.
and we basically got very drunk. And by the time we
Sure.
got on stage, I was very, very drunk.
Yeah.
And Phil just upset me. So,
Welcome. We are Neil,
Luke and Dave.
340-somethings, reminiscing on the runners and riders of 90s guitar music.
We look at the bands who soundtracked our youth on both sides of the pond and interview some of our heroes from the bands that defined a generation.
You'll hear about the good, the bad, and the ugly of 90s guitar music.
This podcast is Stupid and Contagious. Episode 57 of the Stupid and Contagious podcast. Back up near the top 20.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it's great. Thanks very much for listening and watching. We do appreciate it. Yeah, part 2 of our Carter 2-part special. Last week's one went down well, didn't it? People loved it.
Did they? That's good to hear. Brilliant. I enjoyed it.
So we were going to sort of update everyone, whether they want to be updated or not, as to holiday adventures. I've just been working, so I'm not going to clutter it with what I've been doing because it's all boring shit. But Luke, out of Mongolia, How was it?
It was great. It was great. Yeah, it was exactly as you expect it to be. Open plains, low-lying hills, horses, lots of horses.
Horse riding.
No naked horse riding this time, no.
Right.
But clothed horse riding was good. It was great. Stayed in a gur.
A gur or a gurt?
A gur.
Oh, do you not pronounce the T?
There's no T. It's just G-E-R. It's what those,
that's probably
those Mongolian round tents.
I was getting it confused with a yurt. Sorry.
No, it's a gur.
Right, gur.
Was it like a wigwam?
No, it's more.
You still get wigwams.
Circular.
What happened to wigwams? They're everywhere.
They weren't. Where? What do you mean? They weren't everywhere.
They were. Everyone. There's wigwams on all those Western films and stuff. And then all of a sudden,
okay, but that's not everywhere.
In yurts and stuff.
It was also a short-lived band for a while. Wigwam was the bloke out of Blur and Betty Boo. They had a band called Wigwam.
Well, you'd know. You're obsessed with
Alex out of Blur and Betty Boo. I'm a little bit. Yeah.
Mm.
Got to see some Mongolian hip hop when I stayed in the capital in Ulaanbaatar. That was really cool. Oh, it's great. It's this guy called Big G. Ulaanbaatar.
Big
G, man. It was great. He was doing this like massive like outdoor concert in this park, and
that's quite cool.
We could like see over the fence. It wasn't free. You had to pay, but you could see over the fence, like the big screen. Could kind of peek over the fence and have a look. It was great. Cool. It was amazing. Yeah. I'm going to put him on the playlist. Big G, if it's on Spotify.
Dave, how was your road trip?
Yeah, it was really good. We stayed in like a university residence.
Hang on, are you drinking? Have you got a glass of wine?
I literally was eating. I was eating dinner like literally like a minute before I came on here. I just had a glass of wine from the dinner table, so I just came directly from the dinner table to here. So
it
brought it with
me.
me.
Sorry, Dave.
Go on. I apologise.
Let's have a look. Can I just have a quick look at this wine?
He's quaffing wine.
Go on. I just brought it with me from dinner. Go on.
Yeah, it was really good. We were staying in a university residence with all the students who were on this course. Felt
Like
quite
being a
sad
student
when we
again.
left.
Was it like a frat party every night?
Well, we like let them get on with it. You know, we tried.
Did you steal
to
any
let
traffic
kids have a
cones?
good time. No, but I don't know. I just feel quite sentimental about it. It's like they're growing up. They're not kids anymore.
It
is really
Everywhere.
weird. It feels like the last time we're going to have
People
a
are.
holiday like this. My son, you know,
It's
my son
kids.
and my daughter.
Yeah. They do that. Did it make you nostalgic for your university days, Dave?
No, it's more that feeling like this is it. It's the end of an era. They're not kids anymore.
Yeah.
There was this
Yeah.
Spanish artist we saw. They were doing a free concert near the university.
Right.
It was really good. And,
Who was it?
But every time I listen to that music now afterwards, I just feel really sad.
Yeah, that's what music does. Takes you back to that place.
I know, like exactly like you've described it. It's just a really sad feeling.
That's the beauty of music.
Maybe you could put that song on the playlist.
Well, tell us
go
who
on.
it is. Past your free times.
Her
Say
name
it in a
is Emma.
Spanish accent.
Emma, her name is. But there's like a million Emmas, so I'll send you the link. Just one other thing. Sure, everyone wants to know everything about what I've done. No, but the other thing.
Oh,
was
God.
Berwick had its produce show.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tell
The
us
big
more.
one. I missed it this year. I apologise.
Yeah, I know.
What's that, mate?
You liked it, didn't you?
I love
entered
it.
some
Yeah.
Potatoes.
You entered some potatoes. Is that a euphemism?
No, I literally entered some potatoes.
That's the same thing. You're telling me you cut the potatoes.
You just doubled down on it.
No, you see, you've
That's what
forgotten
goes
the
on over there.
context.
Yeah, okay, you entered the potatoes.
Was there a giant marrow competition?
Just a general giant vegetable competition.
Okay, what
There
happened with
weren't-
your potatoes?
Nothing. They were everyone had a worm in it, so I didn't get anything.
Why did you bother entering them if you know there were worms
Why
inside?
didn't you just give them some without worms?
Yeah,
I couldn't. They all had worms.
and then just give it up.
You didn't have to enter.
Well, you know, it's good to have entries, isn't it? The more entries,
No, they
the
got
better.
worms in.
But it ended in humiliation.
Right. So
Yeah, no,
get
before we move on to
All right, go on.
no, before we move on to, we need to talk about Oasis.
Okay. 3 albums in the top 10 this week.
Have they really?
Definitely maybe's
Ah.
number one.
So, what do we think about the whole reunion, the Ticketmaster debacle, and all of that?
I hate Ticketmaster.
So do I, but I'm unsure how much control these bands do have over it. I know they say they do, but I don't know.
I think he wrote on the Facebook page, but my mate Jasper, who was our official Oasis correspondent, he had a terrible experience. Basically, like a lot of people, was in the queue for hours. When he finally got to the front of the queue, he got kicked out because they thought he was a bot. Queued up again.
Yeah.
When he finally got there, they changed to. I think I wrote it down. 358 quid they were saying for standing tickets, and he's just like, no, fuck that. No, just out of principle.
Good on him.
I'm not going to buy it. I'm not
Good
going to
on
pay
him.
that. Yeah.
Well, I think that's what I would do. But then if you've queued up for 6 hours, the temptation is to go, oh, fuck it, I'll just buy
But that's
it.
how they get you, right? You get 90 seconds
know,
to
I know,
decide
I know.
whether you're going to take it or not.
Yeah.
That's so fucked.
It's
That's like
it's
neoliberalism
criminal.
on acid, man.
Yeah,
It is.
It is terrible.
It's obviously criminal. They should just give you the price when you join the queue, and that's that. They can vary them
course.
whatever what they
Yeah,
want.
of course.
But-
Dave, I've got a question. You're a computer guy. Why the fuck is there a queue? It's a website. There's no reason to be a queue, right? There's not.
Yeah,
You
the
must be able to
technology
do
must
everything in a
absolutely
single
suck.
stroke, right?
Should be.
But it's a website. It's not like a phone operator where you have to wait and speak to someone.
Yeah.
I think it's just done on purpose to build up the tension so that by the time you get there, you'll pay whatever for them.
But there's no excuse for a 6-hour queue, is there?
No, not
No,
really.
It's
it
ridiculous.
can't.
It's left a bad taste in everyone's mouth, I think, but I don't know. I don't know what the answer is because I don't know how much control they've got.
The waiting time must be fake so that it pressures you more into buying that.
Yeah, and the only people that don't give up are the ones that really, really, really want it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they're going to pay whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it is criminal. They've become their own touts, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're
Basically.
corporate touts.
good way of putting it.
Well, I
Yeah.
read that. It's not my.
Oh.
I didn't come up with it, but I read it. So I thought it was good as well. Something needs to be done, doesn't it? That can't be
Yeah.
allowed
Yes.
to carry on.
The campaign starts. Well, someone's probably done one already.
It's just immoral, isn't it? It's just unethical and can't be allowed to continue. Hopefully, this happening has brought it to the forefront, and something will be done about it. That's maybe some good will come out of it.
Did either of you try to get tickets?
The time of me sitting in a queue trying to get tickets is long gone. I just can't. I admire people that do it, but I can't do it.
You've seen them anyway.
I can't do it. I went to Nebworth, didn't I? So, you know.
Well,
Don't
so
matter,
did
does
I,
it?
but if they come to Japan, which they might still do, I'll definitely try to get tickets.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd only really want to go if it was Bonehead and Gwigsy, and Gwigsy's never going to
I
rejoin.
can't believe you
so-
said that. Doesn't make
That's
any
true.
difference whatsoever.
It does. The band totally changed once that dynamic changed. They didn't really.
Okay,
do
but they'll
anything
still be
good
playing the
after.
old songs that they played on, won't they?
Yeah, I think Bonehead's going to be there anyway. I don't know. Not that bothered, really. Yeah, I saw him 3 times, so fuck you.
Sure.
Anyway, let's get on to this week's guest, Les from Carter. If you are watching this, then please do remember to comment below, subscribe to the channel. Got quite a few new subscribers this week, so welcome. And if you're listening, then please do rate and review and share it with your friends. There's a 90s revival going on. Don't let them miss out on it.
Here we go. Fruitbat. Born Leslie George Carter, 1958. He's in his mid-60s now, right? Well, so by the time Carter started, you know, he was like in his early 30s. We talk about it a little bit in the interview, but I mean, well, hence why the album's called 30 something, right? Because all their contemporaries were like 10 years younger. Yeah. Although, which incidentally, I just ordered a copy of that. I just found a nice and cheap secondhand copy of that on my favorite record shop. I just ordered that about half an hour ago. Do you know why he's called Fruitbat? Well, he doesn't exactly. You will see in the interview, right? You talk about it.
He does talk.
Right.
You said he doesn't
He does.
exactly.
He doesn't give the.
He does exactly.
True, but he doesn't get the reason why it's Fruitbat.
No, he didn't go why he chose Fruitbat. No.
Do you want to know the full nickname? It's Johnny Guitar Fruitbat the Flying Fox.
That's a mouthful, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, that was the full nickname, shortened to Fruitbat. So we left off next week. Carter were at the top of their game. They had a number one album.
Were.
It was 1992. They were headlining Glastonbury. Yeah, number one, headlining Glastonbury. Imagine that, just 2 blokes with a drum machine and a sampler headlining on the main stage in Glastonbury. It's incredible, right? Top of the world. But that Glastonbury set itself was the start of when things started to. No, they didn't really go wrong at all, but things were going, one way up until then. So they had a big argument with Michael Eavis because their set got cut short.
That's right.
The previous band, Fishbone, overran. Fruitbat, well, Leslie was not happy about it. He talks about it in the interview, so I won't go into too much detail. But basically, he ended up swearing at Michael Eavis and pinning him up against the wall. And but he said it wasn't just that. It wasn't just that. He said he was pissed off with the whole of what Glastonbury had become that year.
That's right.
That was like the first year, like they'd stopped it's become more commercialized, and they'd stopped the hippies coming in, and he didn't like that. So he was not happy, and that earned Carter a lifetime ban from Glastonbury. So that happened.
I wonder if anyone else.
Third album, lifetime ban from Glastonbury. That's a good question.
Yeah. If anyone knows, comment below. Let us know any other bands that have got a lifetime ban from Glastonbury.
The other band I can think of that insulted Glastonbury is the Manics, when Nicky Wire said, "I hope they build a fucking bypass over this place." So third album came in 93, Post Historic Monsters, which you plugged very efficiently last week, Neil. Well done.
Oh, yeah. I'll probably do that again this week. Well, it would have been done. People will have heard it.
Right. So yeah, there's a big fancy reissue of it out at the moment, isn't there? With lots of extras and bells and whistles and stuff. And it's a bit more of an angrier, kind of darker and cynical record. I read somewhere, I don't know if it's true, I read somewhere that Fruitbat was, at the time, he was listening to quite a lot of metal, like Sepultura and Pantera. And the reason he was doing it is because they were like traveling a lot for gigs, and he wanted to drown out the noise of the engine of the aeroplane. So he was listening to metal, and that influenced the kind of the heavier sound on Post-Historic Monsters.
I can't concentrate
Do you reckon that's
anymore. I can't concentrate. He's just put those glasses on.
I couldn't read my own writing. That was why.
Why have you got those stupid
I don't like the bits of
string things?
To stop them from, okay, take them off. Okay. I couldn't read my own writing on my notes.
You look like one of, what was it, Cannon and Ball?
Little and Large.
It's
not my fault. Yeah. These are the smallest ones available. Little. I've just got a small head.
Oh, yeah. Eddie Lusk.
Look at the size of his eyes when he's got them on. They're like joke
comedy ones.
They're the smallest ones I could find. I've got a small head, don't I? Oh, I'm fucking taking them off. I can't even read now. No, I'm leaving them off.
Leave them on.
I honestly thought it was a joke.
The reason I got them is because the first time I bought some and I wore them. And the first day I wore them, I went to work and I lost them on the way. They must have fallen off on the train or something like that. And I lost them. So I had to buy a new pair.
Well, you better put those strings. Well, you better put them back on then, don't you? Because
I'm not going to lose them in my room, am I?
Are you trying to repel women?
I don't need much help in that department.
And Dave will have a few tips for you if you are.
Yeah.
Good one.
Can I fucking continue, you wank?
Sorry, we're having so much fun.
So apparently Fruitbat was listening to like metal and stuff, which is why it's a bit of a darker sound. And yeah, the guitars are heavier on it, definitely. Got to number 5 in the charts, which is pretty good. Had a couple of singles from it. Lean on Me, I Won't Fall Over hit number 16 in the charts, and Lenny and Terence hit number 40. So a couple of singles from it. Lenny and Terence is kind of making fun of kind of rock pop stars that kind of, money grabbing kind of arseholes. Can you guess who the Lenny and Terence of the title might be referring to?
Lenny Kravitz.
Lenny Kravitz, yes.
Terence Trent D'Arby.
In one, bang on the money. Terence Trent D'Arby. Yeah.
That's the only Terence in pop.
Yes, I guess so. I mean, it's Terry's, aren't there? Like Terry Hall and stuff. Okay. A year later, they gained a drummer. Wes joined on drums in 94. Fifth album came out in 95. Worry Bomb, number 9 in the charts. Bit more of a poppy, punky kind of upbeat sound compared to Post-Historic Monsters. And again, a couple of singles from it. Let's Get Tattoos hit number 30. The Young Offender's Mum hit 34. And so yeah, they're kind of, they're not quite as big as they were in 92, but they're still selling a lot of records and still, doing really well. All right. So then Salve from Smash joined on the bass. Wes's brother, Steve, joined on guitar. And a bloke called Ben joined on the keyboard. So from just being 2 people, they're now a 6-piece all of a sudden.
Yeah, I went to see them around that time.
What were they like?
Tell us about it, man.
I went to see them at the Farnham Arts Centre. They were good, yeah, really good. It was when I was at uni, and there was like an all-dayer in Farnham with, I don't know who else was on, but they were the big band on. Yeah, we're good.
Must have sounded completely different.
Fuller sound, I guess, but not particularly. It's still the same songs, same singer, isn't it? But it was good. I liked it.
They had a 6th album. Well, so they had an EP out in 97, which had a title which is pretty unthinkable. It's called A World Without Dave. Imagine that.
Oh, imagine. Well, people can't imagine
without Dave.
People have been going nuts.
You. It's about you.
I mean, me and Luke, we tried to hold it together with our interviews in our summer break, but people they were going nuts for Dave.
Shut up.
It was almost revolution. It was. True. They were. Oh, by the way, Dave, did you listen to any of those?
Listen to one of them.
Be honest.
You fucker. Which one did you listen to? You didn't listen to any of them.
I did. It was with you, but I can't remember what they were. It was with 2 guys
busy
and you.
Fucking hanging out at frat parties.
It was. I know.
fucking dynamite up his ass.
Exactly.
I generally don't
Drinking a
listen to
keg of beer, having like those plastic cups that are red on the outside and white on the inside.
You can just
see
see
like
it. All the students around Dave just chanting, Dave, Dave, Dave.
Is that what happened at your toga party? It's called A World Without Dave. It was kind of a mini album, 6 tracks. Although in some places it had like up to 9, I think. So it was almost like a mini album, basically. And yeah, that was followed by their final 6th album called I Blame the Government in 1998. But by then they'd already split up. So basically on their 10th anniversary, Jim, Bob and Les sat down and decided to break up the band. And
amicable.
The main reason was it just it just when he talks about it a little bit in the interview, it just basically stopped being fun.
The corporate machine took over.
Well, it did, and it stopped being fun. And also that final album is much mellower and kind of got like a lot of acoustic stuff on it and things like that. And they were trying to play these songs, and everyone was just chanting "You fat bastard," and they were trying to play like these new kind of mellower songs, and it just wasn't working. Basically, it's what I read. So I don't blame them. Fruitbat now, Leslie basically started his new band Abdu Jabarov pretty much straight away, 6 months after Carter had broken up. Named after a cyclist from Uzbekistan, Abdu Jabarov. Who apparently was a bit of a bad boy. A bit of a bad boy in the world of cycling. Used to kind of knock other cyclists off their bikes, and I think he eventually got chucked out for drugs.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, he always had the cycling cap, right? That was like his trademark, and he was always been into cycling his whole life. I think he still cycles. Right. Yeah.
On cyclists, Neil, didn't you say something had happened to Wiggins?
Bradley Wiggins has lost everything. Yeah,
he lost everything. Yeah, I was shocked when you told me that.
He's got nothing left, like Ian Bill and his Stenders.
Why?
Gambling.
Pissed it away, hasn't he? I don't know.
On what?
Bikes.
Sure.
Don't know. That's just what I read anyway.
He was famous for having sideburns, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a mod cyclist.
He was. Yeah. So yeah, much more of a kind of a punkier, kind of straight ahead, kind of punk rock band kind of sound. Still a little bit kind of tongue in cheek, like Carter were, I guess, a bit more fun. And I read an interview with him from like right at that time, like 99, I think. And he said he found all guitar music boring at that time, and he was only listening to Fatboy Slim. So basically they've released 4 or 5 albums over the years. They're still going, and they were one of the first bands to release stuff digitally. So this is in 99 for their first single. Dave, do you know what shareware is?
It rings a bell, yeah.
So basically, it's like when software companies want to release something, it's kind of like a try before you buy kind of thing, basically. So they release like parts of software or whatever, and people try it out. So this is what he did, basically. So Leslie, he didn't want to deal with record companies. You kind of tell from the interview, he's not really interested in that side of stuff. He just wants to go on stage and play his songs and write songs. So he didn't want to deal with record companies. So what he did is he released like their first single on shareware, so people could download it, and then if they liked it, they sent him a check for £3 to pay for it. Right. And when he'd got enough checks, then he got enough money to pay to press up the CDs that people had sent him the money for. Then he pressed up the CDs and then mailed out the CDs to the people that had sent him the £3 checks. Wow. And in the meantime, they'd had it on their computer already. And this was in 99. That's pretty amazing, right?
I love all that. So he was like a pioneer in that respect.
He was. He did that, I think, for the first couple of singles at least. Yeah. So going back to Carter. So yeah, they broke up in 98. So they did a reunion. It was the one for Wiz at Mega City 4. The kind of the concert they put on for him. That was in 2007. And I really wish I'd asked about this. And I'm really sorry that I didn't. I had it on my notes and everything. I know it just didn't flow into the conversation, but I really should have done. And I apologise to our listeners for twice missing the opportunity to ask about it, and I apologise. So they did that, and then they kind of did like a gig or so. like every
Hang
year
on,
or
what's the
so.
question you didn't ask?
I just wanted to know about how it was playing that gig, basically.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, because I know we got a lot of Mega City 4 fans and stuff, and I wish I'd asked about it. And I apologise for not. I just it didn't fit with the flow of the conversation. So they did the odd gig, around then, and then finally, in 2014, they did their final ever gig, basically, and they called it a day. And that was a big one at Brixton Academy, and I think I had another one, Shepherd's Bush Empire. And now again, I wish I'd asked about that, and I apologise for not doing so. But yeah, the reports I read about it, it sounds like it was an amazing night. Yeah, and since then they haven't played together, basically. So they've been on the same bill and stuff like that, doing their own various things, but they've never played together as Carter, as far as I'm aware.
But they're obviously still good friends, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And also John Beast, fat bastard, died around the same time, 2014 as well.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
End of the era. Yeah, and he's still playing in Abdujabarov and still enjoying himself. And yeah, that's it.
Well, let's have a listen to the interview and then we'll have a chat afterwards. So here's Les Carter, aka Fruitbat, from Carter the Unstoppable Sex Machine. Enjoy.
Thanks for coming on. Where are you based these days?
Folkestone in Kent.
Oh, right. How is it there?
It's very nice. I've been here for about 12 years now.
Okay.
Moved down because I was in Brixton before that. Moved down from Brixton. It was just getting a bit busy for me, and I fancied moving to the seaside.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Here I am.
Is it a slower life?
It's slower, more polite.
Sure.
Just because there's so fewer people down here, compared to walking along Brixton High Street it's a bit of a struggle, just kind of barging through people as you go along. But here it's okay. People even talk to you in the supermarkets, everything.
Oh, wow. What's that? Are you in your music laboratory room there? Is that?
Yeah, it's my little box room studio. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. What do you record stuff in there?
Yeah, I do. I record and mix in here.
Yeah.
Got my keyboard underneath it.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, I can see some Carter paraphernalia there. That's cool.
Yeah, I've got bits and bobs, yeah. Well, I thought we might be talking about this album, so I thought I'd better have it here so I can remind myself.
Okay. Let's remind. Well, can talk about it if we want to. Yeah.
Well, it's all
we'll get into
you.
all of that.
It's your show.
Well, no. You're the guest. You've got your own band, right? I'm not going to be able to pronounce it. Abdujabarov, is that right?
Perfect. There you go. Perfect. Just pronounce it as it's spelled.
Sure. And you've been doing that for decades, right? Do you still enjoy it?
Yeah, 22 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, of course I still enjoy it. I wouldn't be doing it, if I didn't enjoy it. It's still as much fun as when I started it, really. It's all about me just doing exactly what I want to do, recording the music I want to do, playing the gigs I want to do. So.
I mean, how is touring these days?
Difficult. It's quite difficult to get people to get off their bums away from the streaming, the box sets.
Oh man,
It's quite difficult.
Yeah.
And also everyone's a bit skint at the moment as well. I know myself, I can only go to gigs every once in a while now, whereas I used to go to gigs all the time.
Yeah.
And the price of tickets going up and the price of beer going up, it's quite a big expensive night to go out and see a band nowadays. So I think people are being a bit more choosy about what they see.
Yeah. It's not sustainable, right? That kind of situation.
No. I'm hoping that one day something's going to get better and people are going to get paid a decent amount of money so they can go out again.
Yeah.
So all the mortgages have all gone up and rents have all gone up. It's there's not as much money for fun anymore.
Right. I mean, I don't live in the UK these days, so I don't really know how it is. But yeah, wow. That
It's
sucks.
changed a lot since Brexit. Really, it's changed a lot.
Right.
It was going in that direction anyway, but Brexit's kind of made everything bad.
Sure,
Really.
sure. I mean, while we're on the subject of Brexit, has that affected your touring at all? Were you going into Europe before Brexit?
It was a little bit. I mean, to be honest, it hasn't affected my touring that much. Although I probably would have been to France and Germany by now on tour of
Right.
some sort. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, it's doable now, but it's a lot more trickier.
Yeah.
You have to get a carnet, which is a list of every single thing you've got in your truck or van or car even,
Wow. Wow.
including ridiculous things like guitar strings and
That
cables.
much detail.
Yeah,
What
all
the
the way down to
fuck?
that, which
Right.
is, and you have to pay for it, obviously. You have to get someone to do it for you. And then, yeah, I mean, it's gone back to the olden days. I like you got the same watch as me.
Oh, look at that. Nice. Nice. Casio digital all the way, man.
That's
All the
it,
way.
yeah. But the buttons that you need like maximum strength to push the buttons.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Good stuff. All right, let's go back to the start. You and Jim Bob were, I was looking at you. You were a bit older, kind of than most rock stars when you started Carter, right? Late 20s, early 30s. Is that
Yeah,
right?
late 20s, early 30s. Yeah,
Can
yeah.
can you tell us a bit about your life before Carter?
Well, we're both in bands from when we were at school. You know, we were both in separate school bands, and then
Mm,
we were both in various failed projects, I suppose. You know, from my school band moving on to a band that did, you know, a gig once in a while, and no one really came to see us. And I think
mm.
Jim was in the same sort of situation, and it was, and even, you know, after I met Jim, um, he was in a band called The Bulb at the time, and he liked. I just offered to play bass for you know, as an interim thing. I was in loads of different bands at that point, playing
Mm.
bass and guitar, and even with that, you know, trying to get gigs then was really difficult. And then we became Peter Pan's Playground, also with not
Pound's
much
Playground.
success at all.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we formed Jamie Wednesday, and there was various iterations of that. And the final iteration of that, we actually got a record deal and released a
Mm,
few records, which
mm.
kind of tickled the independent charts. And it wasn't
Okay.
really, and you know, by that time, I think by the time we're even in Jamie Wednesday, that was like from we were 24 already, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I
And then
mean,
we
did you
split
have
up.
day job? Did you have normal jobs and everything?
We had day jobs right up until pretty much the end of Jamie Wednesday, probably right up until 1986 or something like that. It sounds like such a long time ago now. I worked for the MOD.
Oh,
I
really?
was a clerical officer at the
Not a
MOD. Yeah,
spy.
not a spy, no. And I
Well,
actually,
you would say that though. Yeah.
no, yeah, I'm not allowed to say. I did sign the official secrets act, so I
Yeah.
shouldn't tell you
Oh, did you
anything at all
really?
about it. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, no, I had the most easy jobs possible. I ended up actually working in it was in a library. It was in
Mm.
an MOD library,
Oh,
as
nice.
a distributing different magazines to commanders and sergeants and everything. It was
Mm.
easy job that I could do in about an hour of the day, and then I
Sure.
could just spend the rest of the day walking around visiting the typing pool and things like that.
Wow. Wow. That's cool. That's cool. The bands you were in before, were they kind of more straight ahead rock bands?
um, uh, all over the place. A couple of covers bands, and then proper full on punk band.
Mm.
Then a kind of a new wavy kind of band. Peter Pan's Playground were kind of some kind of weird mix between Adamant and the Jam, if you
Oh,
can
wow.
imagine that. It didn't
Wow,
really
that's a
work.
great mix. Yeah, it sounds good to me. Yeah, yeah. Is that what you're into? Kind of new wave stuff and punk and that?
Well, yeah, kind of. In my teenage years were sort of brought up with that, or the big punk explosion, and then new
Yeah.
wave further on. You know, that's when
Mm.
I was going out to three, four, five gigs a week. You know, and soaking it all up, learning stuff, watching all the bands, seeing what they did, how they played.
Yeah.
How they performed
For
on
example,
stage.
who did you see? Any memorable gigs?
The most memorable, really, AC/DC, really early on, at the Marquee Club, to
Oh
about
wow.
200 and something people, who were they're really weird because they were obviously a rock band, but they were really lumped in with a punk thing, and all the punks really liked AC/DC as well
Huh.
because they were just so good on stage. They were brilliant.
Mm.
And then the first version of Ultravox as well, kind of getting into the new wavy kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Ecstasy, all X-Ray Specs,
Wow.
Rezillos, all those kind of bands. Just loved them. Saw lots
Yeah.
of really early gigs, Generation X and the Police and bands like that.
Wow.
Just
Wow.
and trying to be in the band at the same time, and obviously like watching these bands. I'm thinking that's a really good idea for a song. I'm going to rip that bit off.
Sure. Oh man, out of that list, I mean, X-Ray Specs is the one I would have liked to have seen live.
Oh yeah, great. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. So when did you become Fruitbat?
That was when I was in a punk band called Dead Clergy.
That's a good name.
Dead Clergy. Everyone in the band had to have a stupid name, and that's the one I ended up with. There
Right.
was one guy. He started off as being called Oxo, but he ended up being called Marmite. There's another guy called Zippy. Another guy called Brownie. And the reason he was called Brownie is because he used to work for Dynarod, cleaning up shit. So yeah, it's one of those. It's a stupid punk band. Stupid punk band.
Right. But the name stuck.
Yeah, Fruitbat. I think in Jamie Wednesday before Carter, I was still Les Carter in that.
Oh, right. So you took it
But
back.
it was when we did Carter, I didn't want to be Les. I wanted to be something else. I wanted to be Fruitbat.
Mm.
That gave me kind of permission to act as Fruitbat and not as Les, because Les is quite polite and Fruitbat's a different animal altogether.
Right. That's interesting. Does that gives you that stage persona?
Yeah.
Mm.
And people still call me. I still meet people and they go, right, Fruitbat, and I'll go, oh yeah, that's me.
Yeah, it doesn't. You don't get annoyed. You're not like, oh, I haven't been
No.
Fruitbat for decades.
No.
No. No, I mean, why would you? Yeah,
No.
yeah. But you did drop it pretty quickly, right? Once Carter split, you were no longer Fruitbat. Was that like a decision
Yeah,
to?
because that was Carter finished and me trying to do something that I wanted to do. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not saying that Carter wasn't something that I wanted to do. I really
sure. I know what you
want to
mean.
do
Yeah,
that as well. But like kind of towards the end of Carter, it all got a little bit jaded and
yeah.
too much music biz stuff going on, and I don't like any of that stuff.
Mm,
I like playing guitar, writing songs, being in the band, which
sure.
is what I do now.
Yeah, I mean, we might get to it, but what kind of music biz kind of bullshit are we talking about?
Oh, just every time you can't just write songs and make a record. You have to do all the stuff that goes along with it, which I understand now is absolutely necessary. But at the
Mm.
time, doing like hundreds and hundreds of interviews, doing hundreds and hundreds of photo shoots, and having to deal with a record company basically in the end who we were treated like another cornflake. It was just like a product that they were
Yeah,
selling. There was nothing to do with what the band stood for,
yeah,
what we wanted to do. It was all about, no, we can't do that because we won't be able to sell that.
yeah,
And that was a
yeah,
bit frustrating. I just wanted to
yeah,
write songs and play gigs.
yeah, yeah. Wow. Um, why did you decide just to stay with you two? Um, did you audition like other extra band members and stuff when you first
What
started?
with Carter?
Yeah.
No. Okay, so at the time we were in Jamie Wednesday, and it was a full band with a horn section, drummer. I played
Oh wow,
bass.
full band. That's a
Yeah,
full band.
like full
Yeah.
band, and we were also busking, trying to make a little bit more money. Jim and I were busking, and it was around about that time when people first started using little backing tape. There'd be someone playing saxophone, and they'd have a backing tape or someone would be playing classical violin, and there'd be the rest of the orchestra on the back. And we just sat down and we thought, that would be a really good idea. But no one's ever done that with a punk rock band.
Sure.
And then it just we kind of fell out with the drummer. We're okay with him now. We fell out with the drummer. He disappeared. He went on holiday, and he didn't really tell us when he was coming back.
Right.
And
Drummers.
we had a gig booked, quite a big gig for us at the time, supporting the Men They Couldn't Hang. And we didn't know whether he was going to be back again. So we basically split up the band and formed Carter, went into a studio, recorded the backing tracks, and did that gig. And that's kind of where it built from. And then we were heavily influenced by bands like Big Audio, Dynamite, and so the whole sampley thing was very much kind of a part of it. Yeah. Something at that time you couldn't really do with a band unless you had loads and loads of money.
No.
Didn't even have a sampler. We used to get cassettes, and when we were recording the backing tracks, we used to record stuff off the telly and stuff like that. And when we were recording the backing track, we just used to have the play and pause buttons to start and stop the samples.
Right. Oh, really? Right. Just like you're taping off the radio or something.
Yeah. You just start and stop. Right. When the bits of the song come, you just go, play it, stop.
Wow. That's interesting. And I guess the technology didn't exist too long before that, right? To be able to do that.
Not really. No, not really. I mean, and we were using a cassette tape as our backing track.
Yeah.
And like every time we played, because cassettes don't really play the same speed every time.
No.
So to get something in tune,
tighten them up with a pencil. Yeah.
But I used to have to go inside the cassette player and turn a little screw, which changed the speed of the motor. And I had a separate tape that had an A played on a guitar, which was in tune. And I put the tuner into the output of the tape recorder. So I knew the right speed. When it was the right speed, I knew it was in tune. And we
right. Got it. God, that sounds ridiculous way to go about it.
It was mental. Yeah, it was. Really silly, but yeah.
Does it? I was thinking about it. So if you've got like that kind of pre-recorded backing track, does that kind of limit your flexibility on stage, your ability to kind of ad lib and stuff?
It kind of does two things. Yes, it does limit. You can't suddenly change the length of a verse or a chorus or have all of that stuff. But because the backing track is so solid and you know exactly what's going to happen and when it's going to happen, then you've got the freedom to float above it and change things back and forward that way. So it's some ways it's freeing as well. And you don't have to. You don't think, oh, any minute now the drummer's going to forget what the song is, or the
that's true.
Going to forget what the song is.
Yeah.
Which it's usually me, but that happens in Average Aperov because basically that is part of what we do. I change things all the time, not as much as Bob Dylan, but I will change the length of a verse or change, and I just look around, and because I've had the same musicians for ages, my band are brilliant, and they kind of know what I'm going to do. So if I give them the nod, they kind of go, "Oh yeah, I think that's what he's doing."
Right. Yeah. That's cool. Well, we spoke to Jim Bob last week, and he told us that when Carter first began, it kind of happened pretty quickly in terms of writing songs and getting gigs and stuff. Did that feel exciting?
It was quite exciting. I mean, we had some songs left over from Jamie Wednesday, and we actually redid some songs from Jamie Wednesday to a backing track and kind of updated them, and Jim rewrote the lyrics and stuff. But yeah, I mean, we used to write songs like non-stop, actually before Carter and even before Jamie Wednesday. Jim used to come around my house and we used to write. That's what we used to do. He used to come around and used to write. So a lot of probably the first 3 Carter albums were written over quite a long length of time, or the bits and pieces of those songs were anyway. And then when it came to writing songs for Carter, we already had quite a lot in the bank that way.
Right. I mean, did you treat it like a job? Did you like okay, we're gonna do like 9 to 5 writing session or
No, it was just
no?
it was so much fun. We just used to do it.
Yeah.
And we both had a really similar idea of what we wanted to do. So our taste in music were pretty similar as well. So when we were writing, it was quite easy to do that.
How much input did you have into the lyrics?
Hardly any.
Right. I'm just trying to picture the scene. So you're whatever, you're sitting in the flat. You've got your guitar. Jim Bob's sitting there with a pen and paper. Is that how it's kind of
a lot
going
of the time.
down?
Yeah, I mean the songs were very different in those days as well. It was much more poppy, kind of gentle stuff. A lot of the songs were, like the song that ended up being After the Watershed used to be called Love Mountain when we first wrote it, and it was a very nice little gentle song.
It sounds kind of Spinal Tapish.
A little bit. But yeah, I mean it because I before that I was writing songs and I was writing lyrics, but we kind of moved it with Carter. It was more like I wrote the music, Jim wrote the lyrics. It was a very demand thing. Basically because Jim was better at it, and at the time I was better at writing music, so it just made sense.
Sure. And in Abdujaparov, you do everything, the lyrics and
pretty much, yeah, I do. Yeah, I basically write the songs, demo them, and then ask the band to play them.
Right. Yeah,
and usually it ends up fairly, pretty much like the original demo, but just played loads better.
Yeah. Interesting. We talk a lot on the podcast about the importance of band t-shirts, and Carter were big players in that kind of aspect of it, right? I mean, we talk about it because all of us, there's 3 of us that do the podcast, and it was a big part of our identity at that age. It's kind of like a shortcut to see who else is in your tribe when you're walking around the streets or going to gigs and stuff. I mean, were you aware of that the kind of the socio-cultural impact of this kind of tribe you're creating with your t-shirts, or are we just making a few extra quid? Or
no, and I think we realized from quite an early stage that t-shirts were a really good publicity thing for the band, and I mean when we first started, Jim and his missus Jackie were making the t-shirts themselves at home. They had screen printing,
like screen printing. Oh wow!
They were making them at home. So pretty much every t-shirt was individual because
handmade. Yeah,
everyone was a bit had mistakes on.
Right. Wow, that's great.
But yeah, I mean, we realised really early on, when we were playing to probably 30 people or so, that t-shirts were one way of making a little bit more money to pay for the petrol for it.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's not changed.
Right.
With Abdujaparov, it's the same thing. If we just played a gig and got the money from a gig, we might just about break even. If we're selling t-shirts, we make a little bit of money on top. Not a lot, but And I think that's for most bands nowadays.
Right. Is it though? I mean, or is it just like, is it a generational thing? Is it like, I still wear band t-shirts, but I don't see that many younger people wearing them. I don't know.
So a hell of a lot of people, young kids wearing Nirvana t-shirts.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
But I suppose it is different. I mean, the kind of crowd that I hang around with quite a lot. I do quite a lot of little festivals with Abdujaparov, and I do some solo stuff as well. But those people are still really into their t-shirts, and they will buy band t-shirts and wear them. But then again, they're like 40, 50 something people. So
hello.
Yeah. So
this is our audience. This is our audience. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think the younger generation now tend to dress like the band rather than dress in the band's t-shirts. That's just like, I mean, I'm thinking about looking at Taylor Swift at the moment on her Eras tour. You look at her audience, and they dress as her.
Right. Yeah.
Well, they do. I suppose. I bet she sells loads of t-shirts.
She sells everything.
Her t-shirts are 40 quid.
Wow. How much Abdujaparovs?
20.
Look at that.
So
Half price.
Half quality as well, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. They just don't seem to hold as much power nowadays as they did back then, you know?
The tribal element of it,
Yeah.
But when you go to a festival, it's still there. So I think there is still that thing. It's probably, I mean, we were in our, I mean, even Carter, you've got Senseless Things t-shirt on, and all of those bands. It was still, I mean, we were popular, but it was still just a scene. It was quite small compared to Take That or something like that. It was like a tiny thing, wasn't it?
But, I guess I don't know, but Carter would manage to cross over a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, we were a pop band for a year or so. Yeah.
That
was very odd. That's when really 15, 16-year-olds started coming to the gigs, and it was quite dangerous.
How did you feel about that?
It was quite rowdy, and I was a bit worried,
right?
Just because they weren't prepared for the violence, basically.
Right, if you got some hairy, crusty bloke. Yeah,
exactly. You don't really want a DM smashed in your face when you're watching a band, do you?
Yeah. Well, okay, if we're talking about your year of pop, I think we need to talk about the smash hits poll winners party.
So that's funny because that was just prior to our year of pop, because that was 1991.
Okay.
But it was when we were kind of propelled onto the pop market, I suppose. We were totally unprepared for it. It was ridiculous. We shouldn't have been there at all.
Well, my question is, what were you doing? I mean, did you win any smash hits poll winners? Were you a smash? Did you win?
No.
What's the question? Smash hits polls? No.
No, it was well, the Farm were on the same thing as well, so they weren't winners of any poll. I mean, smash hits at the time did go indie.
Right, slightly,
it still had Kylie and Jason and everyone on there, but it had a kind of an indie edge to it as well.
Sure.
And then the DJs from Radio 1 and that were quite influential and all those kind of things in those days as well. And we were kind of flavour of the month, so we got put in as a kind of a wild card, which they probably really regretted afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. So, how much do you remember about rugby tackling poor old Phil?
I don't really remember it. I only remember from what people have told me and what I've seen on video. Really, It was because the farm brought in a whole trolley load of booze, and we basically got very drunk. And by the time we got on stage, I was very, very drunk.
Yeah.
And Phil just upset me. So
what? Just because he was taking the piss, but
yeah. I wouldn't do it now. I don't think.
Oh no, he totally deserved it. Yeah.
I don't know. I think he had a script, and his improv was the thing that upset me. And if he had kept to the script, it would have been fine.
Sure. So he was like, so you kicked over your amps and stuff, right? And he was like, oh wow, they're trying to be really edgy, kind of. Was that the kind of thing that happened? Yeah.
It was. I mean, that whole day. I mean, it was it built up right from the very start. We thought it was a bit bizarre that we were there, and then I was watching like people that I thought proper pop stars.
For example,
they didn't. Marky Mark,
Marky Mark,
New Kids on the Block.
That's amazing.
Danny Minogue was there.
Brilliant.
I can't remember who else, but they were pop stars, and I saw those pop stars being treated in the same way as like a cornflake.
Yeah,
the TV was the important thing. They were just there to make the TV look good, basically. And there was no room for them to rehearse. There's no room for them to change. It was really shoddy, and Mr. Schofield was kind of being a bit arsey through the whole day. Really, I doubt if he even wanted to be there either. Because
Yeah.
But yeah, it was one of those days. It ended up with me and Jim having a really bad argument, and Jim storming off and splitting up the band.
Oh, really? As a result of your impropriety?
My behaviour, yeah. But the next morning it was all in the papers, so then the band was back together.
Oh man, for us indie kids, it was like a defining moment of the 90s for us. It's great. It was great. All right. All right. Oh, okay. Well, no. Let's go through the things people always ask about. Glastonbury. So you headlined, pretty amazing.
Glastonbury.
Yeah. Can you tell us about that?
Also very ridiculous at the time, but again, we were probably big enough to do the headlining.
A #1 album. Yeah.
We thought we had every right to do it, and it was a natural progression. We'd done Reading, now we're doing Glastonbury.
Sure.
It was a lot smaller in those days. It was more of 100,000 people rather than whatever it is now, 400,000 people.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And
still, 100,000 people.
A band like us would be on a smaller stage, about third from the bottom now, really. But yeah, it was. I can remember quite a lot of that one. We were there. We were only there for a day because we had to go to a festival the next day, another festival in Germany the next day. But it was one of the really sunny Glastonburys, and there was loads of, because it's red mud there. It was like really red dust was everywhere, and I remember coming in on a Land Rover, driving through into the backstage area on a Land Rover. And we did some interviews, lots of interviews while we were there. And and then it should have been perfect, but it got a little bit ruined by one of the earlier bands overrunning, and so the whole timetable was a bit off, and we planned our set down to the nth second.
Yeah.
And we ended up having to drop songs, which made me cross again.
Yeah. So
and then afterwards, I was quite rude to Michael Leavis.
What did you say? I don't think I know this. What did you say?
Oh, I kind of pinned him up against a wall.
Oh, that's great.
Told him, because it was when at that time it was really changing from being something that it was very hippie and the Travellers would go to it, and it'd be much more that kind of thing. And that was the first year of them shutting down. They didn't let the Travellers in. They shut down that. So I just got really annoyed about the whole thing, cutting our set short, and that. I can't really explain it, but I was ever so cross.
Yeah, understandable. And then
I got barred from Glastonbury because understandably, really, you don't really attack the boss of Glastonbury and carry on going there.
I suppose. I mean, were you pissed off at the time? You're like, oh, fuck you.
I didn't ever want to go to another festival ever again.
Right.
But I did go to loads of festivals after that. But
has the ban been lifted yet? Have you played it since?
Oh, I think Fruitbat is still not allowed in.
Oh, but you're Les. You're Les. You might get away with it.
Les Carter's been back and played a couple of times since.
Right, but Fruitbat hasn't. Okay.
In fact, the last time I was there, I was up at one of the stages watching a band, and Michael drove by in a Jeep. And we waved at each other as he had no idea who I was.
Sure.
No. I thought it was quite nice. Oh, Michael gave me a wave. That's nice. He's
forgiven. That's great. All right. I mean, well, it's not quite Glastonbury, but I think I can't remember. My memory's terrible, but I think the only time that I got to see Carter was actually all three of us on the podcast. We went together. Was at the Essential Festival at Stammer Park in Brighton in 1995. Do you remember playing that gig at all?
I do remember playing that gig. That was the one with the split stage, wasn't it? Where stage at either end.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think I seem to remember Who was it? Oh, can't remember the name. It's one of the things that's happening as I get older. I can't remember things names.
mate,
It's terrible.
tell me about it. Yeah.
You know, the Charlatans, got it.
Charlatans, yeah.
I was singing the song in my head trying to think of the name of the band.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
They were on stage after us, and we run a little bit over, and they started actually playing their set before we'd finished our set.
On the other stage.
Yeah,
right,
so people
right.
started moving over to that side, over to the other side of the stage.
Yeah.
I remember that and I was really exhausted for some reason. I think we must have been on tour at the same time or been doing other festivals. I remember being really exhausted and somehow managing to not get too drunk, and I think it went down all right. How was it for you?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Yeah. Well, the whole festival was really good, and Carter were really good. I remember the crowd were like really into it, and I remember like arriving and like everyone had like Carter t-shirts, and I was like, oh wow, is this? Yeah. It's great. Yeah.
I do remember it. I mean, These Animal Men played that festival as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's Dodgy
I remember
and Teenage Fan Club, maybe, or was that the another year? I can't remember. But yeah,
I don't remember TFC's being there. Yeah, I remember Dodgy being there. You just kind of had this vague memory of who was backstage.
right. Yeah, Dodgy were there. Yeah, it's great. It's great for us teenagers at the time. Do you enjoy playing festivals? Or do you?
Well, the first festival that Carter ever did was an absolute disaster. It was way back, and it was called the Trevorgy Tree Festival. It was in Cornwall, and it was one of those festivals that kind of went bad. All of the money on the door was stolen by a biker gang, and there was a drug war there that involved people with machetes, and there weren't enough toilets. People were setting fire to people's tents. People trying to get out of the festival were driving through the tents to get out. It was just, and me and Jim afterwards, we said, well, we're never going to do a festival ever again. If that's what
right, well, it's like Woodstock '99.
The next one we did was Reading, I think. The next proper festival we did was Reading, and that was great because that was a big triumph. And then we thought, oh yeah, actually, festivals aren't that bad.
Yeah. That's great. What else? Oh, right. I was been watching your Top of the Pops appearances back this week on YouTube. We love talking about Top of the Pops on this podcast because it was such a big part of our childhood. What do you remember? Yeah, what do you remember about playing those Top of the Pops shows?
I remember the first time we did it, I think, was after the Watershed, probably. And I remember being really, again, stroppy Fruitbat, not less stroppy Black. Fruitbat was being stroppy about not having a lead in his guitar, so it didn't look like it looked like I was miming.
Oh, why would they do that? That you weren't allowed to put one in?
Yeah, they should. No, you don't have leads in your guitar. It's a trip hazard.
But that's ridiculous, right? You don't have to plug it in, but at least don't make you look like a wanker, right? That's that's kind of and then so that one was a bit. I actually enjoyed doing it, but and also because I wanted to do Top of the Pops my whole life, it's a big thing, from watching it in black and white when I was little, because I'm quite a lot older than you. But to do that, it was kind of like a bit of a disappointment because it wasn't as kind of, I don't know, it wasn't as amazing as I thought it was going to be. Sure.
But then the next time we did it, I think it was the Rubbish single when they built a whole set for us. I
was going to ask about the sets. It was there's like a car on stage and shit, right?
And that was just amazing. That was just like the set guys from Top of the Pops just really put a lot into it. And they really like Carter. They really love the band, so they always put a lot of effort into it. And that was the year, backstage, met the cast of Grange Hill, met Doc Cotton and people from the and that was like,
how was Doc Cotton?
This is what Top of the Pops is supposed to be like.
That's
Yeah,
it.
dot com. And then
Yeah.
she came up to me and said she liked my hat.
Brilliant.
Had a cycling hat on. She came
Right. Oh, your trademark. Yeah.
yeah. So then it was like, oh yeah, from that point on it was like, oh yeah, we're doing Top of the Pops again. Who are we going to meet this time? What pop stars?
So what pop stars did you meet?
Oh, David Bowie.
What? Did you speak to him?
Very briefly, shook his hand and said,
Yeah.
right, mate.
Kylie That's enough.
had a good conversation with Kylie.
Brilliant.
Jason as well. Jason Donovan was there at one of them. Just
man.
various people. And sometimes, like there was one where we did, and the Wonderstuff we were also doing it. So
great.
We used to hang around. We used to hang around together anyway. So that was like trouble.
Yeah.
No, I really like doing Top of the Pops. And, and funny enough, just before this, Jim and I were watching through some of those videos.
The Impossible Dream one, is that a real fire on stage?
It is, yes.
What's going on with that? How was that allowed?
I don't know. I think they had lots of extinguishers very close to hand, just in case.
Wouldn't get away with it these days with health and safety, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Again, I mean, they made a nice effort for that as well. It's good.
So you had no hand in that. You were just told to.
We just turned up and they said, "Oh, this is what we built for you." Every time it's like, "This is what we've done for you." And we go, "That's amazing."
Yeah, I don't remember any other people having those kind of elaborate sets, but yeah.
No, it kind of it didn't really happen until E17 started doing it. They started doing things for E17.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Proper full-on sets for them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they deserve it, right? They deserve it.
Oh, I've got a very soft spot for E17.
Sure, same. So yeah. So in the later part of Carter's career, you expanded, well, first to a 3-piece and then 6-piece. What brought that on? What's that?
Well, I think it was just partially boredom. We did it. I remember when we decided to get Wes to play drums. We were supporting Madness on an arena tour.
Wow!
And they were so good, and they had like a big band, and it sounded amazing. And there was just us doing the same thing that we've been doing for 2 or 3 years, using the backing tracks, and it just felt on that big stage it didn't feel adequate. It probably was, but it just didn't feel that way. And then and we knew Wes already. Wes was already on the crew, and he was in the International Rescue playing drums for them before that. So we knew him well, and we thought, yeah, he's a nice bloke. We can have him playing drums. So we are still using backing tracks, but without the drums on. So
okay,
the bass and keyboards were still on backing tracks at that point. And then it kind of just grew from a lot of our crew at the time could play.
Right.
So we ended up just doing a jam at the end of the gig with more people on, and then it kind of just grew the more and more songs until it just developed into a 6-piece band.
Right.
And I really like that version of the band as well. It was, like we were saying earlier on, that whole flexibility of being able to change things as you go along was really nice, and changing, just a different sound for the band. And Jim stopped playing guitar for most of it, and he was just like a front man on a microphone, and that really suited him at the time. I think we did some of our best ever gigs was in that lineup. It was to bigger crowds because our audience had shrunk by that point, but it was still, and we kind of gone back to doing some of the venues that we'd done as we were coming up as well. So the band thing really worked.
That's great. How did you know Salve? We're big Smash fans on the podcast. How did you know him?
The same because of Smash, basically.
Right.
He ended up hanging around with us, and then we just thought, who do we know that can play bass? Oh yeah, Salve can play bass. We'll have him in the band.
Yeah, brilliant. It's brilliant. So when Carter did finally split up, I mean, Abdul Jabbarov started like pretty much immediately, right? I mean, was there any gap?
I think there was about a 6-month gap because when we stopped Carter, I I didn't want to be in a band anymore at that point. I didn't. I'd retired basically, and I wasn't going to do anything. And then I accidentally started writing songs.
Sure.
And then I thought because I had a studio and not here when I was up in Brixton. I had a bigger room with a big mixing desk, and I just thought I'm gonna learn how to record stuff now. I've got this stuff. So I just started recording demos that then turned out as kind of self-release CDs.
Right.
And it kind of then I just thought it'd be really good to play this live, and then it just happened. And then just
so you needed a band. Yeah.
The first of about 40 or so different lineups of Abdi Japarov.
Oh wow. But how did you want it to be different from Carter?
I wanted it to be exactly what I wanted to play at the time that I wanted to play it, and in the places that I wanted to play. I didn't want to have any involvement with a record company or a publisher or an agent. I just wanted to do everything myself, book the gigs myself.
Yeah.
And just go back to having really good fun with good friends on stage, playing guitar, singing songs.
Yeah. Without all the other bullshit. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Yeah. Can I ask a few quick fire questions? Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah.
I can see you got a Carter record behind you. Favorite Carter song?
Favorite Carter song is on this album.
Oh, go on.
The music that nobody likes. There it is. Somewhere. There it is. The second track on this album. There it is.
Okay. Second. What's the title?
The music that nobody likes.
Oh, that's the title. Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Why do you like the song? I'm supposed to be quick fire. It's not very quick fire.
It's kind of like it is the song that I had in my head when we first formed Carter, and the sound that I had in my head.
Oh wow!
It took that long. It took that many albums to get what I wanted in my head out, and it sounds exactly right.
That's great. Favorite Carter album?
That one.
That one.
Historic Monsters.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Favorite gig?
Oh. Favorite Carter gig was probably Reading 1991, I'd say, because that was where everything came together. Perfect gig, perfect audience, perfect weather. It was just, and we weren't headlining. We were like second. The
didn't have that pressure. Yeah.
And James were on after us, and we completely blew James off stage that day. And it was that was us arrived. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like something we've been building towards. And also the same thing. The thing I had in my head when I wanted to be in a band when I was at school.
Yeah.
That was what I always imagined it was going to be like.
Yeah.
And that was the day that it
Big
happened.
Crowd. Yeah. Oh, that's great. You are Carter, Leslie Carter. Were you or are you still an unstoppable sex machine?
I never was.
But are you now?
No, not really.
No. Not really. Is it true that you had a Condoms of the World collection?
Yes.
Do you still have it?
Yes.
Is it in the room?
It's probably not in date anymore.
No, I wouldn't chance it, to be honest.
It's not in this room, no. I know where it is though.
How did that start?
Just from touring. Just because all the it's mainly in Europe, so all the condom packets in Europe were just interesting.
Sure.
So I just started buying them just for the covers, and then we used them on the cover of New Cross.
Right.
So there's a lot of them on that. So yeah.
How big is the collection?
Oh, it's not that big. It's about that size box full of them.
That's a lot. That's quite a fair bit. Yeah. All right. Quick fire round over. A couple more questions, if that's okay. I'm going to let you go. Thank you. Well, we interviewed Jim Bob last week, and I asked him to come up with a question for you.
Right.
So his question was, would Carter have been better if you were the lead singer? This is Jim Bob's question, not mine.
Absolutely not. No. If I ever imagine singing a Carter song, it wouldn't work. In fact, sometimes, every now and again, Abdi Jabbarov do a Carter song, but I don't sing it. Richie, our bass player, always sings it because I don't want to sing it. Yeah.
Why?
Just don't want to. Because Carter songs are sung by Jim.
Sure, but if it had been you from the start, would Carter have been completely different band? If you'd have been the lead singer from the start?
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm not as good a frontman as Jim. Jim's a really good frontman.
Oh, I'm sure you are, but okay. That was Jim Bob's question, not mine. All right, finally then, we ask every band member the same question, basically. Which other band from that era would you have liked to have been in, and why?
Oh, wow. Okay, this is only in the proviso that I was actually good enough to be in that band.
Yeah. Fantasy, yeah.
Okay, so Senseless Things would be one of the ones, or Properly Itself.
Yeah.
Time. That would have been my main ones if I could.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough to be in either band, so.
Oh, come on. Why the Senseless Things especially? They don't.
I just love the Senseless Things.
Yeah.
They're just especially as a live band, there was nothing to compare as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
That's why they supported Carter so much. That's why they were all on tour with us quite a lot.
Yeah.
because I liked them. So
brilliant. They were my first ever gig. Senseless Things.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah. 14 years old. It was at it was at the in Brighton at the what it's called, like the East Wing or something of the Brighton Centre. It's like the room behind the Brighton Centre.
Oh yeah.
Do you know the one? Do you know what I mean?
The littler one, yeah.
Yeah, it's very small. So Sensitive Things and Leatherface, and oh man, what a first gig!
I remember Leatherface. They were great.
Yeah. So that's great. That's great to hear. All right, thank you. Well, this episode probably won't come out for a little while, but do Abdi Jabbarov have any gigs coming up later in the year, or any releases or anything you want to talk about?
Well, next gig is Rebellion, which is in August.
That's an interesting one. I mean, right. Have you played Rebellion before?
No, it's our first time. We've been together for 22 years as a punk band, and this is the first time we've been asked to play a punk festival.
Yeah. Wow. How do you think it's going to go? What are you expecting?
I don't know. We're playing quite a big venue. We're playing in the Opera House, which is pretty big. I have no idea what to expect. I've been to Rebellion before because I was in a band before, Ferocious Dog, for 4.5 years.
Okay.
Sort of stopped that about 2 or 3 years ago. So we played there a couple of times. So yeah, I know what it's like. I know what it's like to play in front of a massive audience there, and I also know what it's like to play in front of a very small audience there. So I'm hoping it'll be the massive audience.
Sure. Yeah. Oh wow, that's really cool. Okay, so Rebellion. Yeah. How about music? Anything new coming up?
I have written tons of music, but it's not been translated into songs yet. I've got about 25 tunes that are songs.
Oh wow!
Basically, they're songs without lyrics, basically. But that it always takes me longer to get to that stage where I can start writing the lyrics. So they're in my head. They keep going round. I wake up in the morning with them going around in my head, and then one day it just clicks, and the words will just go, "Oh yeah, that's what I'm writing that song about."
Yeah. Brilliant. All right. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I'm going to stop the recording. Don't escape just yet.
So there we go. Les Carter the Unstoppable Sex Machine. Lovely guy, wasn't he?
There's definitely, you can see the different personalities between him and Jim Bob from last week, right?
And the similarities.
Yeah. And the similarities. That's true. Yeah,
you can see why they work so well together as a unit. Watch Twins. I bet you fucking loved that, didn't you?
Watch Twins. Fuck yeah. Yeah. 'Casio Digital all the way, man.
Fruitbat, it's more than a nickname, right? It's a band.
Yeah.
It's a band. 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 It's a It's a whole alter ego.
Alter ego. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so interesting, right?
And maybe it's just, you know, the difference in age looking back, but he's a completely different person, you know, beating up people left, right, and centre.
I won't go that far, but
yeah. He had a few rucks in his time.
A few
as
rucks.
Fruitbat.
That's a better way.
Well, Fruitbat did. Yeah, Les didn't.
Not
Fruitbat
Les.
did.
No, Les never
Not
did any
Les.
of that
He
stuff.
wouldn't do that.
I like the way his nickname came in that group, the Dead Clergies, I think they were called. But the other one, Brownie, because he cleaned up shit. Was one of the other guys. I quite like that. For Dino
yeah.
Didn't he?
See, my brother-in-law Luke, Big Luke, he was a postman, right? So they always had their best nicknames. Do you remember some? Well, the best one ever was Bird Table.
Oh, why?
because he had a beard, and he used to get like loads of food stuck in his beard, so his nickname was Bird Table. That's so good. No Dick Mick was another.
No Dick Mick.
Yeah.
Why was that?
I guess he didn't have a dick. I don't know.
We talked a bit about the cost of the Oasis tickets. He was talking about cost of gigs these days and how it's a real problem that people can't afford. Yeah, I do agree, but I think instead of paying 350 quid for an Oasis ticket, just buy 20 tickets to go and see local bands. You could do that, couldn't you? Why don't people do that? That makes more sense to me.
Maybe there just aren't the bands. There aren't as many bands to see.
Well, there are, though.
Well, there aren't the venues.
Yeah, that's true. But you can still find at least one gig a week in Brighton or wherever to go and see a decent band, you know, for 20 quid. Easy. But people would rather spend 350 quid on an Oasis ticket, you know. I'm not, you know, I get it. If you like a band,
yeah, but these people aren't gonna go to those gigs, right? So they're gonna pay 350 quid. It's their first gig in 10 years. It's fine, right? They can justify that cost almost.
Yeah, and it's a bit like the people that go to Glastonbury. They probably go to Glastonbury, but they don't go to any other gigs that year. Not everyone, but a lot of the people that go there, they'll do Glastonbury every year, but they won't go and watch local bands and stuff. It's just an event, isn't it? It isn't just the tickets, is it? It's the drinking when you're there and stuff. You know, 5-6 quid a pint or whatever it is in some places. It's nuts, isn't it?
And we should say we recorded the interview before the Oasis reunion was announced.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a solution to it though.
We should open a venue now in Seaford. Maybe the time is right.
Yeah, we could reopen the old Trek, turn it into a music venue.
Yeah,
do it.
Imagine that. Getting those old zones open back up. It's like a museum in there at the moment. They're just all closed, waiting for someone to reopen the zones.
God, don't do it.
But moving on from that, touring in Europe, that's got to change, isn't it? Adults need to sit down in the room and have a conversation about that one because it's just all a bit ridiculous. You have to fill in a bit of paper with all your fucking stuff on it. It's just bullshit, isn't it? It doesn't need to happen.
Yeah, because you're right. That's the worst thing, isn't it? From our
it's the thing that no one really talks about, isn't it? Apart from musicians, no one else really talks about it. But it's a massive.
No,
thing.
I think they do. I think. Well, before the election, I think Labour promised they were going to look into this.
Yeah, they did.
So we'll see.
But it needs to be done because they need to just sort that out. It's a nonsense.
Anyway, Philip Schofield.
Yeah,
quite interesting. Did you watch the clip?
Yeah.
I rewatched it. I watched it about 5 times. You've got to, haven't you? He was being an arse, though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was just really slagged off their music, basically. So yeah, fuck you, Phil.
And also that Fruitbat said he was like really grumpy all day, didn't he?
All day, yeah. I think that's a bit like the Glastonbury incident. It wasn't just that, was it? It was like it seems like these things built up for Fruitbat. And
but he also said he was very drunk on the Farms rider.
That's right, yeah. But he also said it was more of a statement, like Dave was saying. He said that all that, not just Carter, but the pop artists, they all got treated like scum. Basically, they were just there to sort of perform like monkeys, and that's what you just didn't like it, like the whole thing. So you can get how it will build up over the day, and then when Phil slags off your band, then that's like the trigger point.
Totally justified. Yeah. But like I said in the interview, it was a pivotal moment for indie kids, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's up there with Jarvis Cocker, wasn't it? For sure.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt them, did it?
No, I don't think
Carter.
so.
No,
got them in the
I don't think so.
Did them favours, didn't it?
Oh, I found the story about the lengths they went to with their backing tapes. Fascinating.
I knew you'd
they
like
used to tune the tape player, the speed of the thing, so that it played it in the right key and stuff. I think that's amazing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I love.
Must have taken ages. Yeah.
I think people take all that stuff for granted. Like, I think rightly or wrongly, people that play to backing tracks, there is a bit of a stigma about it, isn't there? Backing tracks and stuff. But you've got to make the backing tracks and you've got to make them work. It's not, it's just another instrument, really, which is what he was proving with that. Is, you have to tune it to the right key. You don't have to do any of that now, admittedly, but.
And it was interesting that he said it didn't particularly limit their flexibility. It kind of gave them like a solid base to work from, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, and you know exactly how long each song's going to be, so you can plan your set better, I guess, can't you? Because you know how long the song's definitely going to be.
Which then, if you get cut short, like what happened at Glastonbury, you're going to be fucked off, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
another mention of Kylie. Who else was it who'd also ended up in a big, long conversation with Kylie?
It was Adam Mole, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So she must have been, liked hanging around with these.
Well, she went indie for a bit, didn't she? She went indie for a bit. She did that stuff with, didn't she? She did that stuff with Nick Cave, didn't she? And then she did a Mannix.
James Dean Bradfield.
He wrote one of her songs, didn't he?
Guess she was always tempted to get into that world.
And maybe she's just a nice person that people resonated to. That's right, isn't it?
It's close.
Have I done it again?
You've done it again.
What's the word? What's the word?
It's close enough, man. It's close enough. What did you think about the discussion on T-shirts?
Boring.
Fuck you. I'm gonna tell Les you said that.
Well, you mean the different pricing and stuff?
No, the fact that he was saying that young people nowadays they dress like the band. They don't necessarily wear the T-shirt of the band, but they dress in a way that's similar to the band. And I thought that was an interesting thing to think about. But obviously, you don't agree.
Nirvana's becoming. He did mention that there's loads of kids walking. That's becoming a real mental thing over here.
Even in Mongolia, there were loads of Nirvana T-shirts. Nirvana and Metallica a little bit, but mainly Nirvana. Of course, only in the capital, not out in the countryside.
But what he's saying about kids wearing them, it's true. Like I do that. I go and record that kids choir and stuff. Like these are like 6, 7, 8-year-old kids in Nirvana T-shirts and stuff.
There you go. Well,
it's pretty mental.
In the subway in Mongolia, someone had graffitied "Come as You Are" with the Nirvana kind of smiley face symbol next to it. If it reached Mongolia, it's crazy, right?
It's pretty nuts. But it is becoming like a fashion statement almost, to wear like Nirvana T-shirts and that.
Speaking of the Nirvana, I'm reading this at the moment, "Come as You Are," which I first read a long time ago, and my copy's disappeared. This is the amplified "Come as You Are." This is a
big book.
This was the only Nirvana book written when Kurt was still alive. So it was written in like 93 93, end of 93, I guess.
Right.
And it came out when he was still alive. But this is like an annotated version, came out last year. So it's like it's like the original book, and then he just like writes comments on it from like the perspective of now. It's interesting. It's good.
Luke was saying it when we went to see, we saw Carter, everyone was having in Carter t-shirts. But it was different, that, wasn't it? It wasn't like the Nirvana t-shirts now is more fashion. I mean, you can.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I was in Next once recently, and they had
yeah.
Nirvana t-shirts for sale in that.
That's what I mean. They're everywhere. There's like it's like a brand now. It's become like a brand. Nirvana t-shirts. It's crazy. Maybe a good thing, maybe a bad. I'm not sure. If the people,
not good,
I think a lot of the people wearing the t-shirts have never listened to any Nirvana. That's the problem, isn't it? Is it a problem? I don't know, but you know.
No, it's cool.
Going back to that Carter gig, I'd forgotten about the stages each end. Why don't they do that now?
Yeah, so would I. Yeah.
That's a good idea, isn't it? Because then
then if
you don't have to wait for ages
one,
in between each band. Yeah, you're at the front, the other.
And in front the next. It's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Why don't they do that? Yeah, you just flip yourself around to see the next band. I've always he solved something that's always played on my always bugged me about bands on Top of the Pops, and like at least pretend to have your guitar plugged in. But he said you're not allowed. So now I know. People literally had keyboards that were unplugged and stuff, and it's like, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
But no, he said that's why. Trip hazards.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have thought they were that up on health and safety back then. So I can't
not when
see
they had a
would be the
fucking
main-
real fire on stage when they did the Impossible Dream. And the rubbish one, they got like this junkyard, and he's like walking over this car and stuff like that. Yeah, it's really elaborate. It's great.
It's like when I now and again I make music videos for people and stuff. It's creating that illusion of it being real. Like people know that the band in the video that's not them playing live, but at least plug the microphone in so it looks like they are, and you still create that idea that it's real. But they never even bothered, which is now we know why. But I can't see that was the reason. That's probably the reason they gave the band, but there must have been another one.
I think it's just to make it look tidier.
Maybe. That's what I mean. It's probably something like that.
Yeah. Aesthetic rather than safety.
Yeah, I don't think it's a safety thing, because not back then. They didn't give a shit about stuff like that. You could smoke on planes, so do you know what I mean?
There you go.
Should we talk a bit about his alter ego again? Because, he's so gentle and nice, wasn't it? In the interview. You just can't imagine that the old Fruitbat. And it really was like another person.
It's so similar with Jim Bob as well, though, right? They're both like very different on stage.
But also, I think everyone does it to some extent. Like, there's a difference in what they present and what they are, and some people admit it and recognise it, and some don't. Like Boris Johnson, for example. Boris was like, and is just a character he's made up.
Yeah, he's not like that. Yeah.
I don't know what he's really like, but there's no way he's really like that.
Yeah, I've heard stories of like him purposely ruffling his hair before interviews and stuff, so he gets into that sort of unkempt.
And he pretends he's like lost his speech when he, and everything's off the cuff. I mean, I've heard him that he does that regularly. Yeah, totally contrived.
So, is this your podcast alter ego, Dave?
Well, yeah,
No, he's always a twat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is ridiculously small scale, but surely we're all the same, aren't we? You're not like this in real life, Luke.
Who is?
And Neil.
I guess. I mean,
aren't we?
I mean, you change depending on who you're speaking to, right? Not just public or private or whatever.
Yeah.
You change depending on it's.
Well, maybe that's why this works, because we're quite comfortable in each other's company. So we.
Yeah,
That's true, and you kind of forget that it's being recorded after a while, don't you? After like the first couple of minutes, you kind of forget about it. And
yeah, so I don't think we
act
do
normal.
put on much of a
No,
thing
I don't
for
think we
this.
do.
yeah.
No.
I think it's best when those moments when you do forget.
But certainly when I interviewed Sid for one of our summer special things, there was no swearing in that interview because he wasn't a swearer, so it was a very toned down.
You did swear, Neil. I noticed.
I swore once. I swore once, but that's
and it felt out
whole
of place in that interview. It
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess you do sort of. We're all social comedians.
It's all about
or whatever
the
they're called.
discursive construction of identity, which is what I write a lot about in my
Is
work.
it? Oh.
All right. Can't start promoting your book.
Oh fuck! I've been trying to write it.
No
over
one
the
want
summer.
to read
It's
that anyway. It'd
killing
be
me.
Really fucking boring.
It's so niche. It's so niche, but it is about discursive construction of identity.
It
but
sounds
anyway,
awful.
yeah. It is. It is.
Hey, you're both published authors. Forgot about that.
I'm not.
Yeah.
David,
You are.
No, I'm not.
You're Amazonable. If you're Amazonable,
Yeah.
you're a published author, man.
I just uploaded
man.
it to Amazon.
Same
Yeah,
thing.
and they
published,
published it by Amazon.
2 published authors. No wonder the podcast is doing so well.
Oh man, it's killing me, that book. Deadline's coming up. Anyway,
Be killing the people that read it. That's for sure.
with boredom. Yeah. No, it's very niche.
No, I'm sure the people that's aimed at, I'm sure they'll enjoy it.
I thought his answer to Jim Bob's question was really interesting. He said he doesn't sing Carter songs in his own band. He gets someone else to do it if they're going to do a Carter song because they're Jim Bob's. That was really interesting, right?
It was just nice, wasn't it? It's a nice thing to say about they're Jim's songs, so I don't feel comfortable singing them. I thought that was really quite touching.
But also,
in a way.
to coin a phrase, Jim Bob's vocal is completely unique, right? but I'm serious because
unique vocal.
Yeah, like that's the sound of his voice for me sort of defines almost that whole genre or time of music. It's not just Carter.
Yeah,
I think of that voice when I think of music from that time.
Yeah, that's interesting. But I also thought it was interesting when they got Carter together. There was no sort of, oh no, I want to write some of the lyrics. He was like, no, he's a better lyricist. I'm better at this. That's how we'll do it, and that's why it works. I think some bands, everyone wants a piece of it, don't they? And they, it's people's egos get in the way, don't they? End up sort of diluting the actual best bits about the band, which is what I think happened with Oasis, right? Going back to Oasis, I think when all those other members joined, all the better musicians, let's say, Andy Bell, Gem and all that lot, when they started messing with the Oasis sound, I just think it moved too far away from what it originally was. That's what I think happened.
Just let Noel do it. Yeah,
exactly. Just let Noel write the songs, everyone else do their bit, which is what when it was Bonehead, Grigsy and Liam, everyone was quite happy with that. Bonehead he didn't want to play intricate lead guitar parts, he just wanted to play bar chords on the stage, which is worked great.
Yeah.
And I think when they became like a more intricate band is when it all sort of went downhill. That's just my take on it.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. I just had a suggestion for him for
who? You're going to give Les a suggestion? Go on,
Les Carter. So I forgot his real name for a moment.
Go on, you better address Les directly.
Those 25 songs without lyrics, obvious solution. He's got to send them to Bernie Taupin, right?
Sure.
Why hasn't he thought of that?
That's a good idea. Leslie, if you're watching this, just send them over to Bernie. Good idea, Dave.
You don't even have to. All you need is a return address, and they'll send it back with the lyrics filled in.
That's it.
Right. That's it for this one. If you have been watching it, then please do subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we're really trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, just because it's a good number. Comment below. Let us know your favourite Carter tracks, albums, gigs, all that sort of stuff. If you're listening, then please do rate and review. Share with your friends.
And if you're new to the podcast, dig into the archives. Plenty to get stuck into. We got Populate Yourself, Jesus Jones, Wonderstuff from that era. We got loads of Britpoppy stuff. We got who have we spoken to? Dodgy, Rialto, Compulsion, Censor, Daisy Chainsaw. All your favourite 90s bands are in there. Collapsed Lung. Yeah. So have a listen.
Yeah, and we've got some good ones coming up. So definitely subscribe to the channel. I don't know, what do you do on when you're listening? Just comes up.
You subscribe to the YouTube, to the iTunes.
Do you? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
They don't call it subscribe anymore because everyone thought you had to pay for it. I can't remember what it's called now. But you have to follow it now. Sorry.
Right. Follow us on the iTunes thing.
And then it'll automatically come into your feed at basically midnight, Thursday night, Friday morning. And also, if you're not aware, so we do a mixtape for every episode. So there's a mixtape for this one with plenty of your favourite Carter tracks on it, some Abdul Jabbarov tracks, loads of punk and new wave, and a lot of stuff that we talked about on today's episode.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have to use the corporate Plopify for that, but it is what it is. It's just the only way we can really get it done. Yeah, thanks so much, Les, for coming on, and Jim Bob last week. The Carter two-parter we've really enjoyed doing. I know, and there's still a big audience for the band, so that's great.
Do you know? I read somewhere. Let me get this statistic. I read when they did their Maid of Ale show in like 2000, and I think it's when they had their comeback, and they did like the Maid of Ale show, and apparently it was the 10,000 people. This is in 2014 when they were going to call it a day. 10,000 people applied for 200 Maid of Ale tickets, and it was the most requested event in Maid of Ale history. There you go. And that was that's 15 years after they broke up. There you go. People love them, and rightly so.
Yeah, and it's still both individually, both doing great things, which is good. Yeah, that's it for this one. Dave?
See you in a minute.